No one expected the dog to understand. No one believed he could. But when the doctors said she had only 7 days to live, he seemed to know before anyone else did. The nurses called it instinct. Her parents called it a miracle. But to those who witnessed it, what happened between a dying little girl and her German shepherd was something they would never forget. Before we dive into this heartwarming story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Story Dash, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss stories that touch the soul. Now let's begin. Her name was Emily Grace Walters, 7 years old. Freckles like constellations across her cheeks, a giggle that filled hospital halls, and eyes so bright, nurses swore they sparkled under fluorescent lights. But beneath the laughter lived a secret too heavy for any child to carry. Emily had been battling a rare autoimmune disease since she was 3. Her body was slowly attacking itself, and no treatment seemed to help. The best doctors, the most expensive drugs, the strongest prayers. Nothing had stopped the slow, silent unraveling until her heart began to fail. "She's tired," the cardiologist told her parents. "Her body is shutting down. We believe she has about a week." A week, that's all. Her parents, Melissa and Aaron, sat numb in the hallway, staring at walls that had seen too many tear-streaked faces. And inside that room, with wires taped to her chest and monitors beeping beside her, Emily had one request. "Can I see Max?" Max wasn't just a dog, he was her dog. A 5-year-old German shepherd who had been by her side since she was 2. Gifted to her by a local service dog program after her diagnosis. Trained to monitor her breathing, detect seizures, even press an emergency alert button if needed. But more than that, Max was her shadow, her guardian, her laughter in the dark. Hospital policy was clear: no dogs in the ICU. But when a child is dying, rules tend to bend. So they brought him in. The elevator doors opened and there he was, tall, alert, his brown eyes scanning every face until he saw her. Emily's room was on the 3rd floor, but Max didn't wait for anyone to guide him. He ran, straight through the hallway, past the nurse's station, into her room, and stopped, not at her bed, at her side. He rested his head on her arm and let out a low, trembling sound, something between a sigh and a whimper. The monitors beeped steadily. Emily smiled, weak but true. "I missed you," she whispered. "Did you miss me?" Max didn't move, didn't bark. He just stared into her eyes as if trying to memorize them. From that moment on, he never left her room. The nurses brought in a soft bed for him. He refused. He slept on the cold tile floor, curled beneath her bed, rising only when she stirred or whimpered in her sleep. When doctors came in, he watched. When they adjusted her meds, he stood. When they whispered bad news, his ears twitched. Then on day 3, something changed. Emily had been sleeping for hours, breathing unevenly, her skin pale. The nurses checked her vitals, all stable but fragile. Her parents sat beside her, silent, and Max stood. He walked to the side of the bed, placed one paw on the mattress, and began to nudge her arm, gently at first, then urgently. He let out a sharp bark, just one. The nurses rushed in. Her oxygen levels were crashing. She was going into respiratory arrest. Had Max not alerted them, the monitors wouldn't have sounded until it was almost too late. They stabilized her just barely. The lead nurse turned to Melissa, stunned. "That dog just saved your daughter's life." They called it a coincidence, until it happened again the next night. This time, it was her heart. The monitor hadn't detected the arrhythmia yet, but Max had. He barked, he cried, he paced, and 30 seconds later, the alarms blared. "He's doing more than we are," the night nurse whispered. Max became part of the medical team. But he wasn't just saving her body, he was feeding her soul. Emily laughed more. She smiled in her sleep. She whispered secrets into his ears. And when she had the strength, she held his paw and said, "You're my hero." On the 5th day, her condition worsened again. Fever, labored breathing, and the doctors sat her parents down. "I'm sorry," the doctor said gently. "We believe the end is near." Melissa collapsed into Aaron's arms. They had tried everything, done everything, and yet it wasn't enough. That night, Max didn't sleep. He stood beside her bed staring at her face. He let out small, anxious cries. He licked her hand, and just before dawn, he did something no one expected. He jumped onto the bed. It was against every rule, but no one stopped him. He curled his body around her. His head rested on her chest, and his breathing slowed to match hers. One nurse reached for the intercom to call for help, but the head doctor raised a hand. Let him stay. And in that quiet moment, something changed. Emily's eyes fluttered open. Her heart rate stabilized. Her fever dropped. Hi, she whispered to Max. You didn't leave me. She fell back asleep with a smile. The doctors were baffled. We don't understand it, one said. There's no medical explanation. But the hospital chaplain had another theory. Maybe he reminded her heart it still had something to beat for. Day 7 came, then day 8. Emily was not only alive, she was improving, slowly, marginally, but undeniably. By day 10, she could sit up. By day 12, she was eating again. And by day 14, she was discharged. The story made headlines. German Shepherd saves dying girl's life twice. Doctors speechless as service dog detects crashes before machines. A bond that medicine couldn't explain. Emily is 12 now. She still sleeps with Max by her side. The disease is still there, but stable, controlled. She has good days and hard days, but every morning she wakes up to a cold nose and a wagging tail. They still go to the hospital for checkups. The nurses always smile when they see Max. One of them once asked, "Do you think he really knew what was happening?" Emily smiled and answered, "He didn't just know. He decided I was worth saving." And the doctors, they don't cry easily. But when they saw her walk back through those doors, healthy, smiling, hand in paw with a dog they nearly banned, they cried like children. What do you think? Can animals feel our pain more deeply than we realize? Have you ever experienced a moment when a pet understood you better than any person could? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. And if this touched your heart, give it a like and a subscribe to Story Dash for more unforgettable true stories that stay with you long after the video ends. Don't forget to hit the bell because you never know which story might change the way you see the world.